Hey guys, and welcome to another Sunday sermon. My goodness, it's been just one of those crazy weeks, but I hope everybody out there is doing good. I hope that everybody's staying safe, everybody's staying healthy, and boy, oh boy, I'm really excited about today's lesson because we're talking about Lego, weirdly enough. I've been watching this show called Lego Masters that just ended a little while ago, but I think you can watch the entire series on Hulu right now. So if you want to go and watch it, I would recommend it. But one of the episodes, they have Terry Crews guest star. And I'm a big Terry Crews fan. He's big, he's funny, he's I think he's hilarious, but he's just, I don't know, he just also seems like a really cool guy. But what kind of got us thinking was Terry posted on his Instagram something that I thought was very cool. He has a photo of himself right next to a Lego TIE Fighter. And right underneath it, so this is on his Instagram, and so he put this post along with it. It says, "I had a blast creating this. Lego teaches me a lot about life. I learned that we human beings are like Legos. Just because we are in pieces does not mean that you are broken. No, you sometimes just have to disassemble and put all the parts back right again. And that takes time, perseverance, and a ton of patience. But if you never quit, and you will achieve your goal. Remember, you are not broken. You're just not finished. Keep building." I just love that so much.
Yeah. And so when Dom read that to me, and when we had talked about, we had been talking with friends about Lego building, I told them that it reminded me of two illustrations in the Bible. And the Bible actually talks about these two illustrations in a couple of different places, but they're two of my favorite illustrations of what God does in our lives. And I don't know about you guys, but through this virus and being quarantined, and I really haven't even been that quarantined because I'm going to work still, but it just feels like we've had so much taken from us. Yeah. If you guys are watching this and you are 8th graders or seniors, you've had your graduation taken from you. We had, and Don has talked about this in previous weeks, but we had our big wedding ceremony taken from us. And, there's just times where through this you feel kind of like you're in pieces, or you have pieces missing, or that they've been taken away from you. And one of the illustrations that the Bible uses in several places in the Old Testament especially, but it is mentioned in the New too, is about the potter and the clay. And I don't know if any of you guys are crafty. I've never done pottery before. I always thought it would be fun. But in Jeremiah 18, Jeremiah received the Lord's word, and this starts at verse 1, and says, "Go down to the potter's house, and I'll give you instructions about what to do there. So I went down to the potter's house. He was working on the potter's wheel. But the piece he was making was flawed while still in his hands, so the potter started on another, as seemed best to him. Then the Lord's word came to me, 'House of Israel, can't I deal with you like this potter, declares the Lord? Like clay in the potter's hand, so are you mine, house of Israel.'" Now, obviously, the Lord was talking to Jeremiah about the house of Israel, but all of us as God's children can use this as an application. There's just times where we have maybe damaged ourselves, or things out of our control, like a virus, have broken pieces off of us. Maybe other people's words or actions have broken pieces off of us, and we're flawed. And, you may have even said the words before. Maybe they've come out of your mouth, or they've been thoughts in your heads that just say, "I'm just broken beyond repair." But the awesome thing about this illustration that God uses is that the potter can take these pieces and can take the broken pieces and the big piece itself and even the dust particles, and he can break them all down, and he can start from scratch and put this this lump of clay, once he adds the water to it, can just put this lump on the wheel and just start remolding it again and make something as strong and as valuable and as beautiful as it was before the brokenness happened.
Yeah.
And we've heard a lot of people say that God, through this like thief coming, this virus coming and taking stuff away from us, it's just stripped us down to the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because God can take that stripped down version of ourselves and put us back on the potter wheel, and can use that time to remold us into what he wants us to be.
That's good.
So I just love that illustration so much. But there's one other one that I want to share with you, and besides the clay is the refiner's fire. That is probably my top illustration of what God does for us, that I just love it. It gives me chills and makes me want to cry every time I talk about it. I just blew Dom's mind just a second ago before we started filming this. But the Bible also illustrates us as being a precious metal, mm-hmm. like a gold or a silver. And, there's times where a piece will get tarnished, or maybe somebody made something out of gold and it's not of any use anymore, and it's damaged and it's scuffed and just worn. And a refiner will take these pieces, or even just pieces that were mined, and he'll take them and he'll put them in a container and he'll stick them in the fire. And what he does is this will start to melt down these precious metals. And the way that the refiner knows that the gold or silver or precious metal is ready to be recast and reused and made into something beautiful is he will watch that metal in the fire, and as it burns out all the impurities, when the refiner sees his reflection in the precious metals, is when he knows that it's ready to be refashioned and recast. And so, I just can picture us during this time going through the fire. And the fire represents hard times, challenging times. It's not a fun thing to be put into fire and have your impurities burnt out of you. Mm-hmm. Obviously, precious metals don't have feelings, but just imagine putting ourselves in that place of us being the precious metal. And here we are being put in this fire and having impurities just burnt out of us. And we can use this time as we're being stripped down and just burnt through this terrible fire that we're going through. As we're going through this, the lesson is that we can become more like our refiner. Mm-hmm. We can become more like God, and we can start to reflect him better, so that we're better prepared to serve. And so maybe this is our time of going through the fire to be able to reflect our Maker and our Master. Sometimes when we mess up the Legos, we have to tear them down, like Dom read. We have to break them down and just start over. And God can do that with us. God can take our most broken selves and make something beautiful out of it. Psalm 66 says, in verse 10, "O Lord, we have passed through your fire like precious metal made pure. You've proved us, perfected us, and made us holy. You've captured us and snared us in your net. Then like prisoners, you place chains around our necks." I don't know about you, but sometimes right now I feel like we're chained.
Yeah, I feel the heaviness of the chains.
Yeah. You've allowed our enemies to prevail against us. He's allowed Corona to come in and take over our whole world, not just our country. We've passed through the fire and flood, but here's the key. Yet in the end, you always bring us out better than we were before,
so
saturated with your goodness. Mm-hmm. I want to tie in one last verse in Philippians. It's such a good verse. Philippians is a great chapter, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Not a great chapter, a great book. Mm-hmm. But Philippians 1:6 says this, "Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus Christ." he started the work. He is the refiner. He is the potter. We're the clay. We're the precious metal. And he started this work. And no matter what we do, no matter what we go through, no matter how broken we become, whether it's our own doing or other people in our lives, he is going to finish the work. And we can use this fiery time and this potter's wheel time to allow God to shape us and to mold us and to cast us into something more beautiful than we could have fashioned ourselves. And he can make us more useful for him, and we can be better lights when we go back to school, hopefully next year, and when we go back to our jobs, and when we get back to normal, hopefully we'll be a better masterpiece that he can use in his service to spread the kingdom, to grow the kingdom. So.
Awesome. And the Bible does say that we are God's masterpiece. And so God, just like what she was talking about in Philippians, is he started a work on all of us. We are all, part of that, piece of clay on the wheel, or we are all that precious metal, and we're being worked on. And God doesn't just say, oh, this has lost all of its value, get rid of it. No, he's going to continue to work on it. It kind of goes back into what I was talking about with that post that Terry Crews put up. I just thought it was amazing. It says, just because you're in pieces, does that mean that you're broken? No, sometimes you have to disassemble them and put them back together again. That's exactly what God does with us, is sometimes in that time where we feel crushed, or we feel broken, or we feel like, God is silent maybe. That's the time where we're being broken and we are being put back together in a way that, will reflect him. And then we're going to continue on with this post, and it says that putting us back together again, it takes time, perseverance, and a ton of patience. Are you giving yourself enough patience? Are you giving God enough patience? Because it takes a lot of time, It takes time to get through all the crud that we deal with, or all of the things that maybe we see as imperfections, or to get through our brokenness. A lot of us, broken relationships, broken families, all those things. A lot of those take time. A lot of those take perseverance. And are you giving yourself the grace and the patience to get through those times?
That's good.
It takes a while. God's going to work on us little by little. And it's just like with the precious metals, is that the impurities, through that fire, through this time of discomfort, the impurities will rise to the top, and then they will wipe clean the imperfections. And the moment that we start to reflect Jesus, we start to reflect, who created us, that is when we've reached full maturity. And so I just want to kind of encourage you guys with that, is just keep with it. Just like Terry Crews says, you just got to keep building your character, keep making yourself a man, a woman, or God. Make yourself a man that is going to be worthy of a woman that you want to marry, and make sure that if you are a woman, that you are holding yourself to a standard that the kind of man that you want will want to choose you. One of my favorite mentors ever said is, the person that you're looking for is looking for someone, and are you that person? And so I have to continuously work on myself too, and have the patience to better myself. And I think that is something that I think the illustration of Lego does so well. Is Lego is just a combination of pieces. And when you get it out of its box, it's incomplete, obviously, and it doesn't look like anything special. But once you put it together, it creates something beautiful. And I think that's a lot like us, is when God is working on us, we are becoming something. And we're always in the process of being built better, greater than before. It's better than the sum of its parts, and it's going to create something that I think God will be proud of, and I think someday you'll grow to appreciate it too. So with that, I'm just going to pray, and then Lori's going to give you the challenge for this week. So, dear Lord, I just thank you that you are working on us, that you are building us, that you are making us a beautiful creation, for your word says that we are your masterpiece. And once you started something with us, that you will see it to its completion. May our complete work look like you. May we reflect you and your Son Jesus in our walks with Christ and our walks going through about our day. I just want to pray that in your name over each and every person under the sound of my voice. Just keep building. Just keep becoming the man or woman of Christ that you are called to be. And it's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys. We got some fun ones this week. I'm excited about it. We're actually going to tie in the lesson that you just heard to our challenges. You guys are doing great. You're blowing this out of the water. We're so proud of you. We've given away 3 prizes so far,
Yep.
and we'll be, of course, announcing one tonight. Just check out Facebook or the comments on this video, and we'll let you know who won. Now, unfortunately, if you caught the midweek catch-up on Wednesday, Dom announced that CYC was canceled for this year, which I had a good cry about, I'm not going to lie. I loved it last year, was so excited this year. We had several new teens. You guys have been coming and haven't had a chance to experience SciCon yet. Look forward for it for 2021, because Pastor Luke talked to us, and I'm just believing with him that God is going to do immeasurably more than we could imagine next year, because this year had to be canceled. So obviously our $50 towards SciCon doesn't really apply anymore. And so far, everyone has chosen the movie prize versus the pizza delivery. So we're just going to say that we're just going to do the movie prize, since that seems to be the popular one. And we check with you to find out what movie you'd really like, or just some movie options to give us an idea of what we can make the prize awesome for you. So this week, we've got bees. Mm-hmm. And the first one is going to be bless. We've tried to challenge you each week to bless someone in some way. And this is going to be very similar to the one that you guys did the week before last.
I think so, yeah.
But with the word bless, we're going to ask you guys to go to your parent or whoever you live with that is over you, a guardian or a parent, grandparent, whoever you live with, and ask them how you can bless them this week. If they have an extra chore or job for you to do, that would be fine. Or if maybe it's just sitting down with them and having a conversation. But you ask them how you can bless them, and then you do it. Mm-hmm. So you can just get very creative. Your parents or whoever can get very creative and just be a blessing to them. They're under a lot of stress too during these times, and they carry your heaviness too if you're feeling stressed or sad or disappointed, because they care about you, and that's what their job is. So find a way to bless them. The second one I'm super excited about ties in with our lesson, and it's build. We want you guys to build something awesome. Now, Dom built this Lego thing, and we want you to build something out of Legos. Now, a lot of you may already have Legos, so if you do, you can just use your own. But if you want to participate in the challenge and you do not have Legos, please let Dom and I know by tomorrow. Yep. And we will deliver you some Legos on Tuesday so that you can participate in the challenge. You come up with your own creation. We're not putting a category or anything on it. Take a picture, send it to us, or post it on our CF family, and use our hashtag still if you're going to post it, or Instagram. Yep. And the person who we vote is the most creative will put an extra name in the prize drawing, of course. Yep. And then last but not least is book. We always want to challenge you guys spiritually too, because we know that this time, again, is the best time to be growing in your relationship with God, when you can't go anywhere, you can't hang out with people, less distractions. So for book, we want you to read the book of Philippians. Now, before you freak out and say that's too much, I can't read a whole book of the Bible in a week, it's only 4 chapters. And so you can do it all in one sitting if you want, because it's really not that much. Or you can stretch it out over the whole week. You could do a chapter a day. Just whatever works for you. Read the book of Philippians. And if you would, just pick out 4 key words or thoughts from that book and share them with us. Because we want to know how God is speaking to you and how you're growing and learning through these challenges. So just write out 4 thoughts that you really took from the book of Philippians when you read it. I'm going to read it with you guys too.
Me too.
And it's a good book. And I think it's perfect for this time that we're going through. So find out a way that you can bless your family, your parents this week. Build a Lego creation. If you have Hulu, check out Lego Masters on there. It might inspire you some. It's super fun. And then read the book of Philippians this week.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see what you guys say about the book of Philippians and what you guys build with your Lego creations. Once again, if you want to be part of the challenge and you don't have Lego, let us know. By tomorrow, we will run and we will get you some, but you got to let us know. So, with all that being said, we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.